From Brigham Young University's Department of Communications, this is your daily news at noon. Honored by the Hearst Foundation for Excellence in Broadcast Journalism, it's tomorrow's journalists today.
My whole house just shook. It's a little old house, one of the older homes here in Wells.
Residents are picking up the pieces and cleaning up after yesterday's big quake in Nevada. Welcome to BYU's Daily News. I'm Chance Walser.
And I'm Lindsay Lofgren. Our top story, residents in Wells, Nevada are digging through the rubble after yesterday's earthquake. Two of our reporters went to the city, and we have team coverage of the aftermath. We begin with Daily News reporter Rob Sanders. Rob, how bad was it down there?
Well, pretty bad, Chance. The town looks like it got hit pretty hard, and not just from the initial earthquake. I talked with Elko County's undersheriff, and he says they've had at least 14 aftershocks.
Wells, Nevada is in shambles. Thursday's 6.0 earthquake knocked down nearly all of these businesses here along Lake Avenue. That's the city's historic district, undoing years of restoration work. Undersheriff Rocky Gonzalez says the street is only part of the damage.
You know, the structure damage that we're seeing here in this community is pretty bad. You know, we're seeing the high school that pretty much is a total mess. You know, we're seeing a number of buildings here that are a total mess. And, you know, right now, just by the assessment, you know, we're looking at some very major damage and very costly damage.
Damage like this discount store, a sign telling customers the obvious.
The age of the building certainly plays a role. This bar behind me was built in the 1800s, and as you can see, it's completely destroyed.
Up the street, the brickwork at the El Rancho Hotel is cracked through, dropping rubble onto this patio area. One of the biggest fears is that big aftershocks could do even more damage.
We're prepared for it, and right now I think one of the biggest things that we're looking at is structure. You know, the structure damage that we're seeing here in this community is pretty bad.
Bad enough Gonzalez and the fire department will inspect every building in town. This mark tells firefighters if an unsafe building is vacant. The Red Cross was going to set up an evacuation center at this chapel for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but even it sustained damage, and they're worried an aftershock could bring part of the building down. But despite all the damage, Gonzalez says the community will pull through.
Here, they all know each other. A lot of people are related to one another, you know, their friends, their family, you know, that kind of thing. So we know that they'll all pull in together.
Now, in addition to the damage, I talked with one of the assistant principals at the high school, and he tells me the school is so badly damaged that they feel like they'd be lucky to even get back in there at all, especially if there's another big aftershock.
Yeah. Rob, did you feel any of the aftershocks while you were there?
Actually, we did. We just stepped out of the car to set up the tripod to get some video, and we were standing right on this crack, and you could just feel a big wave pass right through you. It was actually pretty scary. And I just reading this morning that they had another big aftershock at about 4 this morning. So
just not giving up, huh?
Thanks, Rob.
Not.
Thanks, Rob.
As Rob mentioned, with a population of 1,800 people, there is a real sense of community in Wells. So even though every house was not destroyed, each resident's life was affected.
Daily News reporter Drew Dowling joins us with a story from one of these residents. Drew?
Yeah, the people of Wells, Nevada live in very humble circumstances, so it makes it that much more difficult when things of this magnitude ruins the homes of residents.
It sounded like a freight train, and it just made a big roaring sound, and it sounded like it came from hell.
As Andrea Wood's little house continued to shake, everything in her home started tipping over.
I mean, the cupboard doors and everything just opened up and puked out dishes.
As aftershocks continued, Andrea checked on her elderly neighbor, her work, and her grandkids. She then returned to her home with her grandson to start cleaning up.
Started cleaning up all the messes. Started in the bathroom, and then here come another one, and like, there goes everything out of the medicine cabinet again. Everything landed in the toilet, and like, oh, ick.
After that round of aftershocks ended, her nephew directed her to the Red Cross, who set her up in the elementary school for food and shelter. The two things that Andrea is hoping for now is that, number one, the foundation of her home right behind me is okay so that she can move in the near future, and two, that her dogs are okay. The things Andrea said has helped her make it through this are her friends and her family.
My friends called me, my daughters called me, and my sons called me. My one daughter's here with me. So, and a lot of friends called, and it makes me feel good. The bishop come to the house, and that was really nice. And then my home teacher called, and everybody in the church has been so great.
Well, Andrea told me she talked to an engineer in Pleasant Grove who will come take a look at her house once he is able and tell her if it is okay to live in her house again. She also said if she is unable to move back into her house, she will have to live with family until she is able to find and afford a rental. Back to you, Chance.
Touching story. Thanks, Drew. Since they are using the elementary school as an evacuation site for people like Andrea, they're not really sure when the kids will be able to get back to classes.